Before I get started, since there may be a few people that don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Terry McCauley. I'm currently the football rules analyst for Sunday Night Football and Notre Dame football on NBC. I was an on-field official in the NFL for 20 years and coordinator of football officiating for the Big East and American Conferences for 10 years. Play of the week, LSU Alabama, tight sideline catch inside the 1-yard line late in the first half. An extremely difficult play to officiate, and there are several elements to discuss involving rules, officiating, mechanics, replay, and unfortunately credibility. So here's the play as it occurred in real time, and it includes the announcement by the referee prior to going into replay review.
In the backfield with Burrow with Edwards-Helaire, the tailback, wide out to the left. Burrow throws corner. What a catch by Moss!
Was he in?
That looked like his daddy.
Holy cow! Perfect throw, matched up on Diggs to the outside, and that's Randy-esque. Did he have his foot down?
And rolling on the field in the previous play is a catch at the sideline for a first down.
That announcement you just heard is critical to this entire discussion. He clearly and plainly tells the world that the ruling on the field is a catch at the sideline for a first down and nothing more. He does not mention any other aspect prior to review. This is important because there is clearly another aspect of the play that is reviewable. Given that announcement, there are two questions at this point. One, does the receiver control the ball with a body part touching the ground in bounds and then maintain control when he hits the ground? In other words, does he catch the ball? Two, because he is so close to the sideline, does the receiver step out of bounds prior to touching the ball? If so, does he reestablish in bounds by having a body part touch the ground in bounds after he is no longer touching out of bounds? And if he does, is he the first to touch the pass? If all that's true, this would be a foul for illegally touching the pass unless he was forced out by overt contact from a defender. And I use the word overt because philosophically, a force out must be an overt act by the defender that clearly and directly causes a receiver to step out of bounds. It is not incidental contact while players are running down the sideline or jockeying for position, or hand fighting. Under this guidance, if a defender forces a receiver out of bounds with the pass in flight, then it must be defensive pass interference. Okay, given all that, let me be perfectly clear. This is simply two players jockeying for position playing the ball. The contact is not pass interference, and it is certainly not a force out. It is incidental contact. So now let's go through the on-field mechanics and the play itself. The toughest part of this play is the field judge is squeezed at the goal line, and it is extremely difficult to have enough depth to see the whole play. As we look at it, he does give up the goal line, which he shouldn't do. He should have gone back as far as possible while staying on the goal line. Even with that, he simply would not be able to see the ball and the feet at the same time. In that case, he is supposed to go to the feet and then work his way back to the ball. It is obvious from the video that at no point does he ever look at the feet. Therefore, the field judge could not possibly know whether the receiver stepped out or not, and he clearly just guessed that the pass was complete. Now let's look at the line judge. He actually has the best view of the entire play and is in really good position. With this vision, he should be able to see both the feet and the ball at all times. It's still an extremely difficult play, but he's got the best shot at it. Now, mechanically, anytime an official sees a receiver step out of bounds, he is required to throw his hat on the ground to indicate that. And it doesn't matter why he stepped out. Just the mere fact he was out requires the covering official to throw his hat on the ground. Now, in my career, I actually have never seen an official fail to do so, fail to throw their hat when they see a receiver step out of bounds. I have seen officials not throw their hat when they did not see a receiver step out of bounds. So replay has stopped the game and they're going to review. The SEC uses a collaborative process, an in-stadium replay official, the command center in Birmingham manned by replay officials, and the referee who also has a monitor. The reviewable aspects of the play are catch or no catch, and did the receiver step out of bounds, and was he the first to touch the pass? Since the announcement gave no indication that officials saw the receiver step out of bounds, replay would likely try to confirm the catch first. As they do that, they would then see the receiver stepped out and would realize the potential for an illegal touch. They would then check that aspect, since if the ball was illegally touched or it was incomplete because the receiver did not reestablish, then there would be no reason to go any further. But replay did not do that here. Replay simply confirmed the catch, and I'm going to discuss later why they disregarded the receiver stepping out. They did correctly confirm the catch. This angle shows that the foot came up from out of bounds and the other toe may or may not be down. He does control the pass to the ground, and the pylon camera shows the toe was clearly down when he controlled the football. Now, what about illegal touching? Before discussing that, here is the announcement from the referee after the review, which really sets off an incredibly bizarre sequence of events.
After video review, the ruling on the field of the catch for a first down is confirmed.
The referee simply announced the ruling is confirmed with no other explanation. By rule, on a confirmation, referees in college football are not allowed to explain why the ruling was confirmed. Unfortunately, I was unsuccessful in getting that rule changed several years ago. We really needed more information here. From everything we've seen, it appears the receiver went out of bounds and was the first to touch. So everyone is baffled how this play could simply be confirmed. And here's where it really gets crazy. At halftime, the SEC released this statement that the ruling on the field was actually that the receiver was forced out, so it was legal for him to return and be the first to touch the pass. Let me be perfectly clear. From everything we've seen and heard, that could not possibly have been the ruling on the field. Here's the referee's announcement prior to going to review again.
The ruling on the field in the previous play is a catch at the sideline for a first down.
That, my friends, was the ruling on the field. The referee did not at any point announce a force out and touching prior to going to review as required. Also, the video shows neither covering official threw his hat down or had any conversation whatsoever prior to review. Therefore, it is highly unlikely, almost impossible to believe, that either covering official saw the receiver step out of bounds. Therefore, how is it possible that the on-field officials ruled the receiver was forced out of bounds as stated by the SEC at halftime, when it appears the on-field officials didn't even know the receiver ever stepped out of bounds at all? This is where credibility of the entire process, the entire replay system, is called into question. 1. When was it decided that the on-field officials ruled force out? It certainly was not prior to review. Was it during the review, or was it at halftime just before the statement was released? 2. Who decided the on-field officials ruled he was forced out? Was it indeed the on-field officials, or was it someone else? No matter what the answers are to those questions, the optics of this whole situation are absolutely terrible. So now let's go through what should have happened. And interestingly, it's actually not that complex at all. Replay would use these two angles to confirm the catch was in bounds. After seeing the receiver stepped out of bounds prior to touch, it has to be determined, was the receiver the first to touch? This angle shows the Alabama player may actually have touched the ball first. Here, the nose of the ball is down, and in the next screenshot, it tilts upward. Now, this is not indisputable evidence that the defender, the Alabama player, touched the ball first, but it is certainly enough evidence to create doubt that the receiver was the first to touch. At this point, the ruling on the field that it was a legal catch stands, and that's it. It really should have been that simple, and would have been that simple had Birmingham followed the proper process, a process that's been developed over many years so that coaches and fans can have faith the results of that process are fair and unbiased.